A resident of Canada is facing charges after an attack at a U.S. airport. National Aboriginal Day ceremonies were held across the country.
One of my greatest hopes is that this brings unity and respect for Indigenous people, for one another, in one place, moving forward for the betterment of all of us and all of Canada.
And Humber College raises the rainbow flag ahead of Pride weekend.
We have a responsibility to safeguard those values and practice those values and live those values every day.
Humber News starts now.
Hi, I'm Sarah Watson, coming to you from our newsroom at Humber's North Campus. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's making news this hour. Montreal man Amor Fatui has been charged with committing violence at an airport. Fatui was arrested yesterday following an alleged knife attack on a police officer. The incident occurred at Bishop International Airport in Flint, Michigan. Authorities say they have not ruled out additional charges. The victim, Lieutenant Jeff Neville, is in stable condition in hospital. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is speaking at the University of Toronto today. The sold-out show features the Prime Minister in conversation with New York Times correspondents. The main topic of discussion being Canada-U.S. relations.
Canadians expect me to do two things, compatibly and consistently, which is stand up for Canadian values and interests, but also have a constructive working relationship with the administration of our largest trading partner and most important friend and ally. And that's exactly what I'm going to stay focused on as my job.
Help us out, though.
This year's National Aboriginal Day was marked by a number of changes. Ceremonies took place at Parliament Hill in Ottawa with a variety of speakers and performances.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made several announcements during the ceremonies. The first, that National Aboriginal Day would be renamed National Indigenous Peoples Day. The second change was that Langevin Bloc, a name which for many is a bitter reminder of the residential school system, would be renamed the Office of the Prime Minister and Privy Council. The Prime Minister also announced that 100 Wellington Street, across the street from Parliament Hill, would become a space for Indigenous peoples to develop and use in whatever way best serves Indigenous interests. Many Indigenous leaders were present, including National Inuit leader Natin Obed, who spoke to the painful past but had high hopes for the future.
For the entire history of this country, we have been plotted against one another. We have been separated, we have been pigeonholed through legislation, through arrangements that often start with the federal government. One of my greatest hopes is that this brings unity and respect for Indigenous people, for one another, in one place, moving forward for the betterment of all of us and all of Canada.
Assembly of First Nations National Chief Perry Bellegarde said that while Canada is celebrating 150 years, Indigenous peoples are celebrating for other reasons.
Canada's 150, the birthday, and we say we will participate. We will participate as First Nations people. And we will look at the way that we want to use that word celebrate, because what we'll celebrate is this, is that in spite of the genocide from the residential schools, and in spite of the colonization, the oppression of that Indian Act, we say, Igwa, we're still here, and we're getting stronger, and our young men and women are getting that pride back, and they are going to take their rightful place.
Here in Toronto, National Aboriginal Day was celebrated at Fort York. Interactive performances and workshops took place throughout the day. Humber News reporter Reed Goodison has the story.
National Aboriginal Day was celebrated at Fort York on Wednesday. Crowds gathered from across the city, including families and school children. Events featured hoop dancing with Rhonda Doxtator, and Métis fiddle music. Veronica Johnny gave hand drumming lessons to an eager crowd. She's been teaching hand drumming through the Toronto District School Board for 10 years.
Oh,
I love seeing their faces change. I love how after one song or after a smudge that they feel more, they feel empowered, they feel strong, they feel connected, they feel present. It's just a change in the kids, you know? We need to give our youth whatever we can, whatever tools we can to survive this world, and not just survive, but thrive.
National Aboriginal Day here at Fort York kicks off a weekend-long festival to celebrate Indigenous arts and culture. Reed Goodison, Humber News.
Well, Pride Month comes to a grand finale this weekend with the annual marches and parade. Here at Humber, the Pride flag has been raised to promote inclusion. Humber News reporter Lucia Iglesias has the story.
Summer is here and the Pride flag has been raised at Humber College North Campus. The ceremony is a representation of inclusion and encouragement for all educators to support student diversity.
We all have a responsibility, certainly as educators and certainly as a community that supports the values that we have at Humber. We have a responsibility to safeguard those values and practice those values and live those values every day.
The event also included a strong message from some participants about how the Humber community still has work to do.
I want to see more of is more dialogue, but also more action. I want to see more people listening to those marginalized voices and then being brave enough to take action to support them.
Kenny Dodson, who identifies as trans non-binary, explained to Humber News that prefers the pronouns they or them instead of a gender-specific word. Dodson said Humber needs to encourage their staff to be more engaged when dealing with racist situations.
As a staff member, I feel safe, but as a student, I don't. Because of the way classrooms are taught and because of the way just like some students are. And I know you can't really control the students, but like being in a classroom and having like bigoted or like racist or like homophobic or transphobic things said within the classroom and not having the professor address it is really harmful to me, and it actually makes me not want to go to class even less.
Rainbows can be seen all around Humber after various departments decorated their offices to celebrate Pride. There will be more Pride events here at Humber College during the week, and you can expect to see the Humber community present in the Toronto Pride Parade over the weekend. Lucy Iglesias, Humber News.
We're going to take a quick break. Still ahead, the latest in sports. But first, Genya has a preview of your 3-day forecast.
This morning started out sunny, but there's a chance that might change this afternoon. More after the break.